Council, if you're ready, we'll begin. Go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Dan Pillow.
Here.
Jennifer Anderson. She did email and say she would be absent. Ann Pillow.
Here.
Al Glick.
Here.
Pam Jackson.
Here. Council, you all did get an email from Jennifer. She says she's not going to be here. What's your pleasure?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I have sinus infection, and when I have that, I can't hear very well. So I wasn't able to hear you. Just if
I'm
you
sorry.
help me out a little bit.
I'll try to be as loud as possible.
Thank you.
No, Jennifer sent an email stating she wouldn't be here, so I'm asking council, what's your pleasure?
I guess the question is, how is she coming? When will she be able to return? Do you have any idea?
In her email, it goes into a little bit of detail of her medical condition, so.
Sure.
24 to 48 hours or
Yeah.
something, she should be fine. 24 to 48 hours, she's saying, she should be good to move forward.
It's a new issue and it's in the email. I don't want to discuss that publicly.
I'll need a lot of help from that
She's
side of the table.
I don't know if you heard, she said it's a new issue.
Oh, great, great. I make a motion that we accept the absence of councilperson Jennifer Anderson.
A second.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Al Glick. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Al Glick.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Okay, council, before we go into any official business, I would like to open the floor to council for the next 20 minutes. You have people that are here that would like to address council about the seat. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss that.
Okay.
We'll get that done first.
Mayor,
How would you like to
go right
proceed?
ahead. I'm sorry.
How would you like to proceed? Did you want them to come up to address council or discuss it amongst yourselves? So I'm opening the
I
floor to you
would,
guys.
I would make a motion that we fill the vacant council seat with Jennifer Wiehe.
I'll second it.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Ann Pillow. Any discussion?
The only discussion I have, we have one other person that's here that was interested.
I'm sorry.
We have someone else that was here in the audience, I believe, that was interested, is that correct?
Yes.
So I don't know if we should at least maybe discuss it
Try to hear them out, see what,
from both parties.
I have a motion on the floor. It's up to.
Yeah, well, I'll call for the vote if nobody else is going to discuss.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Al Glick.
yay,
What was it?
yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I assume they said yay.
Yay.
Yeah,
That's
she
yay.
said yay. All right. Well, that was quick. He didn't need the 20 minutes, I guess.
Appointment.
Yeah.
Is it a tie vote? Oh, what is, I'm sorry.
4 yays.
4 yays. Okay. Thank you. I'm not hearing very well. Thank you very much.
Okay. Raise your right hand, say aye and state your name.
I, Jennifer Wiehe,
Duly solemnly swear
duly solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution and laws
to uphold the Constitution and laws
of the United States of
of
America,
the United States of America,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
and the ordinances and resolutions
and the ordinances and resolutions
of the Village of
of the
Addyston,
Village of Addyston,
and to faithfully discharge the duties
and to faithfully discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of the Village of
of the
Addyston.
Village of
So
Addyston.
help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Take your seat.
Jennifer, thank you. Anything you don't understand, just say,
I don't understand.
yeah.
I'm not shy.
You can always abstain for stuff, nothing here that I think you're familiar with. So.
All right. Now we will go to the clerk's report.
I apologize, Jennifer, that you don't have this stuff in front of you. You received the minutes from the November 21st council meeting.
This is ordinances that.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from November
Abstain on those. This is
21st,
other stuff we'll bring
2022.
up about purchases.
Second.
You can feel free to abstain on any of them if you don't know about any of them.
My first, you second, I'm sorry, Liz. I know you.
Yeah, I got you down as second.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Is there any discussions? No discussions, we'll vote.
This is the minutes from November
You may have to do my ears
21st.
today.
D'Angelo, this is the minutes from the
Yes.
21st.
Yay, thank you very much.
Jennifer, you want to abstain?
Yes, sir.
Abstain, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Next, you should have pay ordinance 12A, and I had to put this on legal size because there was quite a few names on there. Pay ordinance 12A, this is for biweekly payroll that was paid on December the 2nd. Dispersed from the general fund, $9,126.06. Street construction maintenance repair, $3,162.14. Water fund, $2,561.88. Combined total of all funds is $14,850.08.
I'll make a motion to accept 12A, 2022.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Next, you have pay ordinance 12B,
Okay, you'll
and
find
this is
it.
for accounts payable.
You'll see something that looks like this.
From the general fund, $7,313.68. From permissive auto fund, $775.93. From the street construction maintenance repair fund, $775.93. From the water fund, $1,651.25. For a combined total of all funds, $10,516.79.
I'll make a motion to accept 12B, 2022.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Next, you have 12C. Again, this is for accounts payable. From the general fund, $25,933.47. From the water fund, $122.04. For a combined total of $26,055.51.
I'll make a motion to accept 12C, 2022.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then you should have 12D, and this is for monthly salaries. General Fund, $6,450. Street Construction Maintenance Repair Fund, $380.12. Water Fund, $1,018. Combined total all funds, $7,848.12.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-12D.
One second.
Motion by Ann Pillis, second by Al Glick. Any discussions? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You should have received a copy of revenue summary as of 12/3/2022, and you should have received a copy of the annual appropriation as of 12/3/2022. And that's all I have.
All right,
Oh,
thank you.
Valerie got this, is Bob gonna
Oh,
bring
the
that up?
Cincinnati
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I'll
Bob, are you
bring,
gonna bring it up about the Cincinnati Waterworks?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
That's all I have.
all right, thank you, Margaret.
Welcome.
I don't really have a lot on my things tonight. Everything's in front of Bob again. But I would like to say thank you to the maintenance department for doing such a fabulous job on our Christmas lights. Thank you so much. I think everything looks great.
Does look good.
It does. Lit it up this year. Well, I'm just gonna move to you, Bob, since you have all the ordinances in front of you.
Okay. First ordinance I have is an ordinance appointing Alex Havlin, magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, setting compensation.
That.
I'm recommending Alex for our magistrate for this next year. So this is renewing the ordinance.
I make a motion to suspend the rules, that ordinance be read 3 times by title only and declared an emergency.
I'll second it.
Motion by Dan Phillips, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
This is how we establish.
First reading, an ordinance appointing Alex Havlin, magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation. Second reading, an ordinance appointing Alex Havlin, magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation. Third reading, an ordinance appointing Alex Havlin, magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation.
I'll make a motion to adopt as read.
Second.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Dan Phillips. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I will have to tell you the number later because my sheet is upstairs from where I did my minutes this week.
Then I have an ordinance appointing Brian Clerk, the backup magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation.
And he's
I'll make-
just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Make a motion that the rules be suspended, said ordinance be read 3 times by title only and declared an emergency.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan Phillips, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow, Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer, we
Abstain, please?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
First reading, an ordinance appointing Brian Clerk, the backup magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation. Second reading, an ordinance appointing Brian Clerk, the backup magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation. Third reading, an ordinance appointing Brian Clerk, the backup magistrate of the Addyston Mayor's Court, and setting compensation.
Make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ann Pullis, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract with Language Bank for interpreting and/or translation services.
And this one is for mayor's court because when we're requested to have a translator for court, we're using them to provide us with one.
This is something we've always done, right? Always had a translator.
They just, the way they wrote this up, it's more of a contract with them.
I see. Mhm.
Maybe Bob can explain some of that
Okay.
too.
If we have somebody that comes in and they're not fluent in English, we have to get an interpreter who's
Sure.
certified or approved by the Ohio Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And that's what the Language Bank is. And
Right.
it's kind of like a housekeeping ordinance to make sure that if the state auditor ever comes back and says, you use these people, do you have a contract? Now we have a contract.
Very good.
All right, I'll move to suspend the rules, read the ordinance 3 times by title only, and declare an emergency.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Al. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann
Yay.
Pillow, Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
First reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract with the Language Bank for interpreting and/or translation services. Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract with Language Bank for interpreting and/or translation services. Third reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into a contract with Language Bank for interpreting and/or translation services.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ann, second by Pam. Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow, Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into Eighth Amendment to the water contract with the city of Cincinnati.
And that's for our water that we hook up to on First Street for emergency purposes. Contract renewal. Yeah.
This is a thick one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thick one.
Okay, I make a motion to suspend the rules and read the ordinance 3 times by title only and declare it an emergency.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ann Phillips, second by Pam Jackson. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson. I'm
Yay.
sorry I have to call on her, but I do.
First reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into Eighth Amendment to a water contract with the city of Cincinnati. Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into Eighth Amendment to water contract with the city of Cincinnati. Third reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and village clerk to enter into Eighth Amendment to water contract with the city of Cincinnati.
I'll make a motion to adopt as read.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam, second by Ann Pillow. Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
I have an ordinance to amend appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Addyston, Ohio during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title 3 times, declare an emergency.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Al. Any discussion?
This this is not the appropriations for the following year. This is just to amend the ones we have.
This is
Thank
just closing out, trying to close out the books for this year. Everybody turned in their purchase orders and that, and this is just the, got to do this, and then we can move to the next one.
And finance, just to say, Dan,
Sorry.
finance didn't meet on this. I know it was just Margaret and I because Jennifer wasn't available or didn't whatever. And then I sit down with Margaret and, you know, she just basically, like we do every year, she just closed all the purchase orders and that out. This is what's left.
Yeah, the meeting to actually do the appropriations for next year still needs to happen.
Yes.
But it has to be after this. This has
It
to be
has to
done
be
first.
after that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
First reading an ordinance to amend appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Addyston, Ohio during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2022. Second reading an ordinance to amend appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Addyston, Ohio during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2022. Third reading an ordinance to amend appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Addyston, Ohio during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to adopt as read.
I'll second.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
I have a
discussion.
Oh.
discussion.
Again? Okay.
I would just, certainly I appreciate us paying our employees, getting them up, giving them increases. No
That's-
question about that.
That's not, we're not
That's
voting
That's
on
what
that.
that.
Oh, which one are you on?
This is the one we just did for the appropriations. This is the
Oh,
final
okay,
vote.
got you. Thank you.
We haven't even discussed that.
I'm ahead. I'm ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Dan
Yes,
Pillow on this one.
yes.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Abstain?
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Then I have an ordinance saying the compensation of certain village employees and declaring an emergency.
On that one, can we hold till
Yeah.
finance has it?
We're gonna hold off on
That's all
that
I
one.
have.
Thank you, Bob. We have Carrie from the branch here again. Carrie, would you like to, before I move to committees or anything?
I'm gonna let Paula have the floor. Hi, Carrie has some packets for you. Thank you very much, Ms. Mayor and Council. I'm Paula Brumheger. I'm actually the library director for all libraries in Cincinnati, Hamilton County, and I know you all know Carrie from your local branch, and appreciate her ceding her time to me today to talk to all of you.
Thank you.
I'm going out to all of the city and township and village meeting of leadership on the west side of the county to kind of keep you abreast of what's going on with our facility master plan. But before I begin, I always like to ask if there's a time limit or a recommended amount of time that I not go over, because I can talk a long time about this stuff and I don't want to do that to y'all. So if there is some give me 3 minutes, some say 7 minutes, whatever is your preference, I can try and
I think 10 minutes is great.
Okay, that's great. So the library currently has a facilities master plan, and the section that you have there is the west zone. So I'll explain it a little bit, just for some background. Our library is the city and county, and it is 40 branch locations, our main library, and a distribution center down in Queensgate. So that's where all your stuff goes when you order it and you want to have it sent from Anderson out to Miami Township. We move millions of items every year through that Queensgate distribution center. We have about 1 million square feet of public space across the county, distributed about 500,000 of it in the branches and about 500,000 of it at the main library. So that's a big hub we have downtown. Just for a little bit of background, we have some buildings that are quite old that we own. So we have a number of, for example, Carnegie buildings that are more than 100 years old. A couple of them had never been handicap accessible at all. during the entire span of their lifetime. So if you can't do steps, get into the library in those communities. On the west side, the best example was the Price Hill Branch Library, which some of you may be familiar with. So to try to resolve our infrastructure issues in 2018, we went out and asked the taxpayers for a 1 mil levy to help support this work. We did pass that. We appreciate that support very much, and I believe very strongly in telling taxpayers what we're doing with their money when they give us the okay. So that's kind of what I'm out here to do. A lot of our work currently has been focused in some of those places that needed the most work because they're so old and they were not accessible. Price Hill, Walnut Hills, Madisonville are 3 that you simply couldn't get into. We have redone Price Hill, renovated and expanded. We just opened Walnut Hills, which was the first branch in our system here. 116 years ago they opened that. We renovated and expanded that one. Out in Madisonville, we were unable to acquire additional land, so we moved across the street into a new spot. We do still own the Madisonville branch. Those projects are all kind of complete or about to be complete. We also did the project up in Deer Park. If you've ever been to the Deer Park Library in Dillonvale, it's in a shopping mall, 5,000 square feet originally. And we had a lot of community meetings back in 2019. The people in Deer Park said, hey, the TJ Maxx down the street from your current spot is gone. You ought to look at that spot. So we did. And we moved that branch down to the 25,000 square foot TJ Maxx. And it is really remarkable reuse of space there. Some tired retail, which we know is everywhere. My favorite part of that story is on the day we opened, there was more than one person that came in and told me where the fitting rooms used to be. So that was kind of a fun bit of history. Here on the west side of town, we have closed our Green Township branch in August. We're renovating it. That one is kind of a light refresh. My first library job in town was at the Green Township branch. It opened in 1990, so I always think of it as not that old, but I have to admit 1990 is a lot longer ago than it used to seem. So it needed a little bit of help. We're reopening that here December 10th. It's just under $1 million we used to renovate and refresh that one, do some replacements. So if you have been in there before, you can go take a look at that one, hopefully in the new year. We also are working on the Cheviot branch. If you've ever been in the Cheviot branch, it's what we call partially handicap accessible. So you can get in the branch, it has an elevator, but it does not have an elevator, excuse me. So you can get in with a ramp, but because it has no elevator, if you have to use the bathroom, it's downstairs. So if you're not able to do stairs, it's quite a challenge to get to the bathroom. We have 3 branches in this condition where you can get in the branch, but if you want to use the bathroom, it's not so easy. So we're working on those. Cheviot is on our plan to do an elevator there and a slight expansion, so that will be additional square footage here on this side of town. And in the Delhi Library, we're hoping sometime in the next 5 years. Our levy from 2018 is a 10-year levy. So this is a 10-year master plan. We are hoping to expand that Delhi branch a little bit as well and make it a large library too. Now, Miami Township is perpetually on our list to try and find some place that's a little bit bigger and has better parking. Before the pandemic, we worked a little bit with the school, Three Rivers, and had tried to think of some shared space that they might be able to work with us, and perhaps, I think they were talking to the Y, but then the pandemic happened, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. So I do want everyone to know we continue to try and investigate some options for Miami Township, but in the world of today's libraries, we try and find a library that can really support future use. As I mentioned, a lot of our libraries have been around 50, 60, 80, 100 years. And we're not going to be doing this kind of building again, probably in my lifetime. So these buildings we're putting together and renovating now, they're going to outlive me. So we're working really hard to do what previous generations had done and give us buildings and spots that can last and work for a community, not for 5 years or 7 years, but for a quarter century or a century if possible. So, here on the west side of town, I mentioned we have a lot of libraries, but you all are a little bit under-resourced in terms of square footage because the west side of the county grew during some of the time when we didn't have a lot of money to build or expand branches, the Great Recession of the mid-2000s. So you have per your population, a little bit less square footage of library space than would be ideal. So we do anticipate at some point, hopefully, with the continued support of taxpayers and using our dollars wisely, to be able to do something. And as I mentioned, Miami Township remains an area that we're interested in. Despite having all that space, there are some what we call library deserts, and the area right along 50, Sailor Park on out, doesn't have quite as much as we would like for the population that is served. So we're aware of that, and we do try to do mobile service and other things, but that's something that's on our list of what we would like to accomplish. I do also want to note, we have another big branch coming up on the north side of town, Forest Park. We're designing that, and the city of Forest Park is swapping some land with us. So they are taking our old library and giving us some undeveloped land that will allow us to build a bigger library. So I mentioned that both because it's going to be a great library. It's the first one we will have built from the ground in a number of years. But also, we're always interested in trying to work with local municipalities on ideas, suggestions, or anything that you might have that would work for us, or that we can figure out a way to bring service more to where you're at. Again, I could go on and on. The plan, it is a 10-year plan. You have this section, the West Planning Zone, because we put all of the libraries into zones, 5 of them, and it has information both about the current state of the branch and some future recommendations. The overall plan is 3 volumes. It is available on our website. The first volume is an executive summary. The second volume has all of the planning zones. So all that information you have about your libraries here on the west side of the county, if you go on our website and you look at volume 2, and I have a copy here just for some effect. It also has coffee all over it because I think I read it too much. This is the second volume, so it's pretty substantial, but it's an interesting overview of some of your infrastructure for public dollars. And our third volume is the budget, which was developed in 2019, so you can imagine how useless that might be now. So we're doing the best we can, dealing with all the same things all of you are dealing with professionally, personally, and as a government entity in terms of inflation and supply chain. We continue to move along, and we are updating the budget. So we are doing our best to work within the dollars that have been allotted. Some of the projects may have to change going forward, though I hope not. So we continue to get good tax revenues from the state currently. And also, as I noted, we have local levy dollars as well. So that's basically just what I wanted to come out here to update you all. I appreciate your time, and I couldn't agree more about the lights when I drove into town. It cheered me up right away. So I commend you, and it is a very nice light display right along 50. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, and again, I know Carrie and her staff are fantastic, and hopefully y'all get over there to the library now and again as well.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time, I appreciate it. I may sneak out before your meeting's over, please don't take it personally if that's the case.
First, you should stay. First, you should stay to the end.
You heard that right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go to committee or department heads. We have the fire chief here today, Brian Lacey.
Good.
How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
It's good seeing you. Good seeing you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think. All right. I think Sissy probably sent you guys my report so you can look at it a little bit beforehand. Had another busy month for November. For you guys, we had 4 fire details. We had 15 EMS details. They're kind of broken down for you on page 3. Kind of explains what they were for the fire responses, and then page 4 is the EMS details that we had in the village. The page 5 is the total run volume EMS wise that we had. You can see we had 158 details total for Miami Township. Page 6 is the staffing levels of our medics and how that's panning out. You know, we're still having a difficult time with finding, firefighters. We did hire a couple part-timers. We just got an application today for another one. I'm going out to visit Scarlet Oaks. They're going to be doing a graduating class out there. Has 19 that are going to graduate. 5 of those have already been offered full-time positions, if you can imagine that. But we're going to go out and interview the other 14. So page 6 also lets you see what we were doing training-wise. Kind of breaks the hours down. We had a total of 33 and a half hours of training. One of the trainings I attended there was from Tri-Health. It's a stroke, some information from a stroke symposium that I went to back at the beginning of the year. It was really, really good. It's Cincinnati's kind of leading the edge in that sector of care. And there was a lot of good information that was passed on to our EMTs and paramedics about what to look for stroke, some of the updated stuff, some of the things they're doing in the field to prepare people for the hospital visit in case they have a stroke. Really, really a lot of good information came out of there. Also in the EMS part, we hosted a symposium, a cardiac symposium. We partnered up with Tri-Health. That came out and they actually did a really, really nice, there was doctors and nurses and all kind of people came out to learn about the latest in cardiac care. And we hosted that up at Miami Heights. Really, really good program. We did the firefighter ability test. We do that every year. It tests the physical ability of the firefighters. Everybody made it through that. Flying colors. Page 7 talks a little bit about fire investigation. We don't have any open cases right now for the village. We did do one car seat check where somebody brought a car seat out and made sure it was properly installed. You can also see we did a lot of public ed for the month of November. We threw some of those pictures on. You can see we had a really, really good turnout down at the new station for some fire prevention stuff. I know we came down, I don't know if I mentioned it, I didn't get to mention it, I don't think last time we came down and met with the new code enforcement guy that you have here. He's working his butt off, he's doing a really good job. Our code enforcement guy has got a meeting set up with him to come down and meet him so that those two can work hand in hand. So I think that's going to be really, a really good partnership between those two. We did order a new Quint. It's going to be a ladder truck. We finalized the plans on it this past week. It come to us at a cost of $1.4 million. So the cost of fire trucks are skyrocketing through the roof because of parts and everything else. That's not the bitter part of the whole thing. I know that seems like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. The bitter part is we're not going to receive the truck for 22 months because we're that far behind on parts and labor and everything
We
else.
understand that one.
So, just a little bit about the fire department. Does anybody have any questions for me? Anybody in the audience? Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Brian. We have Eric, police chief.
Evening, council.
How you doing, Aaron?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you.
November runs for the police department were 76. That's pretty typical. No outliers there. Within one of those runs, we did have a felonious assault that I investigated that took place at one of our establishments. Charges were filed in that case. Will be handled downtown. So that was really kind of the only significant run that we had as far as the details for the month. I've been working with the code enforcement officer as well. I don't know if you guys have seen, but we've been out working on junk vehicles. This month has kind of been the task that we've been focusing on. A lot of warnings were put out, some citations issued, some vehicles towed. I'm sure as this area has all heard, there were some rumors circulating through the Addyston, Cleves, North Bend area about some potential homicides, some number of bodies found. I've been working with the sheriff's office trying to figure out where those rumors came from. They were unsubstantiated. However, we did have one body that was recovered down in the Cleves area. I don't know who's heard what, but it was an individual that had spent some time living here in Addyston, and I can tell you the sheriff's department's working on solving that. The last time I had met with the council, there was some interest in developing an organizational chart for duties and responsibilities for the police department. We're working on that. I should probably have something to council out the next time we meet as far as where we stand now and what something would look like in the future if we were to kind of change the structure of the department. So that should be out next month. Still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with this next full-time job. I think we've probably lost the opportunity to hire our internal candidate. Obviously, you lose a job, you need to find one, and I think he is pretty close to finding one, so I don't know if that opportunity is still going to be there once this situation is resolved. Myself and Aaron, the last week, have been preparing for our semi-annual RCIC audit. So we've been spending a lot of time pulling files, making sure we're prepared for that. As you guys know, RCIC is a very important function for our department to operate. So we've been spending a lot of time. It'll be my first one. So making sure we're going over our checklist for that. And then, what do I have here? Our end of year allocations for funds. I had to put some tires on a cruiser last week, so 1801 was down, but that's got a new set of tires, so that should last us for quite some time, and I don't foresee any major vehicle expenditures anytime soon. So that's where we're at for departmental news. Any questions for me?
Any new candidates for part-time?
Oh yes, I did not cover that. We do have some candidates we're going to start interviewing for part-time. We had a couple for full-time that really aren't any viable candidates other than the one we had internally, so back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Yeah, there's a
just
lot
keep
of,
trucking forward and we'll see.
a lot of places
hopefully.
hiring right now, so it's
I know.
stiff competition, so
Everywhere is hiring right now.
everywhere's hiring. Yeah. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Dustin, did you have anything?
I have nothing at this time.
All right.
Can I speak?
Right, I'm getting through my
Oh,
department heads
okay.
first.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Council, did you want to go to committees or do you want to just continue in the audience?
I'm sorry.
I'll just continue with the audience.
Yeah, just go ahead and continue with the audience.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
go ahead.
Might as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Council. Matt Pennekamp. I own the property at 187 First Street, and since mine, I've been trying to clean it up, do little home repairs here and there as it's being rented. And then I did receive weeds and grass violation in August, in which I didn't really understand, but they said it was wrong address for me. And I also received a ticket for noxious or disabled vehicle parked. And I'm trying to find out the codes in the code book, and they're unavailable for me to read. Is there some way I can read the codes so I can understand what obnoxious weeds mean or vegetation, and actually what disabled vehicle is? Because it says disabled vehicle hasn't moved in 2 weeks. Personally, I own more than one vehicle, and one vehicle might sit in my driveway for a month without me driving it. But according to your thing, if it sits more than 2 weeks, you can get a ticket. So I don't know exactly how to determine a disabled vehicle, if it has tags on it, no tags on it, exactly, because I can't read the codes. I don't have access to the code book.
Do you have a copy of the citation?
I have one copy, yes.
What section does it state?
Let's see, this one here is 601.7.
That would probably be the property maintenance code.
I think this was for vehicle, and then property maintenance code was 302.4.
There's more than one section.
I mean, can the books be available before council meetings or
Yeah.
during the week that I can stop down?
It should be. It should be. You have those correct,
Should be
Margaret?
available at all times.
Well, yeah, but I didn't
I mean,
understand that's what he wanted. I thought he was asking for something different.
And
from me.
actually, I want a copy of all the people who received the
That's what I.
disabled
That's what
vehicle
he's saying.
citations.
Oh, we can get that for you.
Okay. Because I actually filled out the request on November 16th for them.
Okay.
So,
You'll probably have it by the end of the week.
okay, can I get a copy of these codes too, so I can understand what vegetation is, or,
If you give them to me,
okay,
yes.
I'll see if I can write them out tonight before I leave.
Okay. If you have copies of the paperwork that you received,
Yeah.
I'll make copies of them right
Well,
now.
I got a pad, I'll write them down here for you.
Okay.
You can, if you'd let one of us, we can go in and copy it, so the solicitor has the whole
Okay,
thing.
I'll do that.
We can do that for you, that way we know. But what you requested from me was, I
A
thought
copy
it
of the
was,
citations.
you was
Yeah.
talking about that.
Right.
And like I said to you, I wanted to make sure the solicitor inputted on that because I'm always careful since it's a public records request.
Do you want what specifically do you
Well, just, I want the definition of obnoxious weeds, rank vegetation, because there's like, I don't know if you call it honeysuckle, rank vegetation, or obnoxious weeds. It is an invasive plant. You know, I kind of like scratched my head on it, because I'm down there usually every 2 weeks to trim, because I know my tenant doesn't have a weed eater. And I've been cleaning up the house as I bought it. I mean, there was a whole tree growing up against the house, and it's all cleared off. The whole back of the house is cleared off. I just didn't know what all the definitions mean. It's just vague on what they can say, you know.
If you give us the code sections,
Okay.
I'll make sure you get copies.
And with the vehicle too, because I know, it's my nephew rents my house, and he had a car down there, it ran, just didn't have tags on it. But it's sitting on private property, and it's on a blacktop parking area off the street. And we got a citation.
Lack of tags is the issue.
That's it? I mean, I had a car sitting in my driveway for 4 years with no tags, so I'm going through the
Where
court
did you
system.
live?
Well, I live in Cheviot,
Right,
so I mean, I know they have a thing too.
but you're supposed to have tags on the vehicle.
Okay.
It's supposed to be licensed.
And it says if it doesn't move in 2 weeks, even if it's licensed?
It's gotta be licensed.
Right, and it
What
says
it
you
is
have to move it every 2 weeks, I'm thinking, no, I don't drive vehicles every 2 weeks.
He was on the code enforcement book, correct?
House
Matt?
numbers, are we
It's
talking?
187 First Street,
That's what he was.
old workman's house, where workmen
Oh,
used to
okay.
live.
Yeah.
Right next to Chip's garage is where we sit. So, I'll get
Other
a,
codes that go with it. like zoning,
Yeah, it's
different
not just
things.
one
It's
look.
just not one thing, yeah, it's multiple things.
Margaret, do you want to make a copy of these?
Yeah,
things now?
sure,
That's what he was
yeah.
asking me about the ordinance. Maybe whatever they
So
available.
when you want to do that?
And just another question, I know,
Well, I don't know.
when I called Margaret, it said,
No,
where's
plenty.
that one? It says if you want to appeal, you have to appeal through the clerk, and I don't know if Margaret, like, I wrote a paper, I could appeal it, but then nobody knew exactly how to receive it.
But there's two different clerks. There's the clerk of courts, and you recite it through that system. I'm the council clerk.
Well, who's the clerk
So
of
it
courts to file an
wouldn't be
appeal?
me, would it, Bob? It wouldn't have been the clerk of courts? It would probably been Aaron Valerie, clerk
Okay,
of courts.
okay.
Because it went through the,
And
Because
if-
it
you know,
went through that
some of these-
process.
I mean, it gives me 5 days to take care of the weeds, and 2 weeks on the date that it's mailed. I mean, 5 days is kind of like, time I get it, if it's mailed, get it 2 days later, I got like 2 days to address the issue, or if they can be
Who sent you the citation?
The village,
No.
Code enforcer.
the code enforcer, Edward.
So if you get that, you should call the code enforcer
Okay.
right away. Because the issue is to try and get compliance. It's
Right.
not to generate revenue,
Okay,
okay? That's the objective.
okay,
So if you know the car's got to be licensed, you have it licensed, and then they'll drive right by your property. But if it's not licensed, then they'll issue the citation. If it sits there and continues to be not licensed, the code enforcer's probably going to say, we went through this one time before, and I gave you the opportunity. See what I'm saying?
okay, yeah, understand. Okay. That's all I have.
Hey, Eric, would you mind making copies of what he's got for Bob? Thank you, appreciate that.
Could you make 2, Eric?
Is that all you have?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Anyone else from the audience would like to address council? All right.
No, this is the current one.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move to committees. Start with Dan.
Thanks, Mayor. I have a couple of items to discuss with council. I'd like to report on the NatureWorks grant. I spoke with Ms. Dee Burleson at the ODNR about our grant and why we weren't considered. A lot of questions. She said there could have been a number of reasons. Obviously, the point system is the main denominator. That's the main thing they do by, but there are other various things that could make a difference in our application versus the city that got the application. I asked her again, how do we compete with the Evendales who got the application, Montgomery's, Blue Ashes who have staffs that I think we all kind of realize that, and her says it's just not by glitz and glamour that some of the bigger communities have. It is by the point system and a few other things. She said that it's a possibility that in the line were to ask if we had the wherewithal to fund the project without the grant, which didn't make a lot of sense with me. That's why we're asking for the grant. If that could have been a problem, she didn't have it in front of her. The bottom line is she said that she would go over our grant application and give us feedback. She said this is a tough year. 14 applicants for this one $90,000 grant. And somewhere in there, I asked her as well, can you, through the Freedom of Information Act, send me the listing of those people who applied? She said, no, I can't do that. Okay. I said, I'd like to see ours versus theirs, where we are in the ranking. She said she would be able to send our ranking, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Where we fell in, but not name by name with the other entities involved. So,
This is the Ohio Department of,
Natural Resources.
I would think you could call up your local legislator
Yeah.
and they could obtain all
Yeah.
that information for you.
Yeah, it's pretty weird that we can't
It
get
should be
it
a
straight
public
out.
record.
Yeah,
Right.
so, that's pretty much what I have on that. I certainly want to take this opportunity to thank everybody, including our maintenance men. We had two of the maintenance men, along with the water board maintenance man who helped us pour concrete. We needed every one of them. We really appreciate them coming to our aid and getting right in the middle of things and helping us get those things poured. We haven't determined if we want to set them up as something council can talk about, or the Parks Committee, whether we want to set those up right away, I don't know about right away, or whether we want to wait till spring to actually put the pieces down. Sort of my thought that no need to let them sit out there all winter.
And you let them sit
Somebody
out
else may
there.
have it different.
Somebody trips over, what are you gonna do about that then? That's the bad part about letting them sit all winter.
What do you mean, those concrete slabs?
No, there's sticking up out of the slab about this far. Each one of the
Yeah,
end
they're not level,
beds.
yeah.
I mean, you can put a bucket over it, I guess, and
That's, yeah.
tie it down. All I can
What's
say.
sticking up out of the slabs?
Well, the end beds.
What, about
That's
the
that
anchor?
mount, everything mounts it to.
All the benches.
No, the equipment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Workout.
because when you was talking about the benches, I'm like, huh, what?
No, the end beds stick out about that far.
You're talking about the exercise equipment, okay,
That metal piece or whatever it is.
okay,
Yeah, the end bed sticks out about that big and about that big around.
okay.
Just,
So that's what, I don't know if I want to set it there all winter long, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can wrap them, but whatever,
hey,
we can wrap them and
if you
do whatever
wrap
we
'em
need
up,
to do.
have fun.
We just want to know what to do
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah,
I don't want-
because if it gets snow covered and stuff like that too,
I'm sorry.
you wouldn't even see that. I mean, that could be a hazard, sticking up. I don't know if we're gonna have any good days. I mean, how hard is it to mount them? Do we even?
I'm not
Do we even
averse to
know?
it. I just want to know what we want to do.
Was it just a few bolts, it looks like, that we have to put in there? I know it's more to it than that, but the bolting,
If you want to do it for the winter, just let them sit there. You can just take some foam and put foam around them. Just tape the foam around them. So if they trip and fall, they're not going to get hurt, but
yeah.
that's what I'd do if you want to do it for the winter.
At least cover it up
That's
for
my,
now.
that's my opinion. That'd be the covering it up.
Or something.
That way,
Doesn't
in
matter
the
to
spring,
me.
you start putting it in. And you can always just get that foam, just put the foam around it. Wouldn't cost us that much to get the foam.
Say again, Al.
You could get the foam and put the foam around it,
Yeah,
and that wouldn't cost us that much, just to get the foam, just to wrap it in, and duct
Sure.
tape it up, and it's good to go for the winter. And start this spring, we can put everything in the spring.
yeah.
That'd get us to the winter. Just a suggestion.
So is it sort of a consensus that we do that then? Okay,
I mean,
great.
Wrap 'em
Any
in foam.
objections?
I have no objections. I think we should, whatever, if that's what we do for safety, that's what we do when we install the stuff in the spring. And then in the spring, we install the equipment and we install the benches
Did
and
we
the
get any
swings.
more in
Huh?
there? Did we get any more benches besides Pam's?
No, that's the only one we have, but we do have the swings, the adult swings.
Oh, that's right, that big one.
I was
still waiting
until spring.
And we do have the ability to put more benches, we just don't have any on order.
Just one of the benches for right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And that'll,
I know.
Well, we got 4 more pads for 4 more benches.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to say, the first bench pad we put in was the size we was gonna have them, but the next 3 were a foot bigger. So what we'll do, and that was Mrs. Snow's bench, the one we could install, is go back and make it the width of the other ones. It's the length's fine, but the width's not, and it should look just like the other one when we finish and fur it out and bring it out. If we get a good day on that, we can do that with bags.
Yeah, it won't be bad.
But yeah, along that same note, we had a lot of people. I don't want to miss anybody, but I want to recognize everybody. Chip Brinkman came back, helped us, did a tremendous job. Andre Jackson, who was limping, but worked it out, worked hard with us to get it done. Lamar, our son, helped us out. Billy Nixon also helped us out a lot, along with Pam and Al was supervising, Ann and myself. Who have I missed?
Good. You and Ann.
Was Jackson over there?
Who?
Was Jack Gator over there, Jackson?
The first group.
The first
The
time
first
he was,
time.
yes, he was, and then this
Not
last
this
time.
last time.
Yeah, Andre Jackson.
We're talking about Howard. That was
Howard.
the first time.
Oh, okay.
First time he did come over and help with his health issues, the second time wouldn't allow him to.
Really great community project, and I hope we can do more and have more of the community come out and help, not only on the park, but other projects that we have. It's very, very important. And
Can't forget.
I would also
Always done.
really give a shout out to our lights. My gosh,
Except for when we poured, because.
everything looks good. You guys did a great job on that as well. And looks like we'll be set for a few years now with lights. I'm sure we'll have other stuff we'll add, right, Mayor?
I hope so. We tried to get what we could get and get it here by Christmas, so.
So yeah, that's those are the things that I thought were extremely important. When I get her report back from ODNR, kind of jumping around, I'll make sure I share it with council so that we'll all know. We can make the corrections we want and resend it. First she said, oh, well, you can resend it. I said, well, what sense does that make? I mean, we got rejected once on it. Then she said she would go through everything and we can send the same thing in with any corrections we might get from her feedback. It's hard to be competitive. It is. It's just hard. There has to be, and I said there has to be a level playing field where the small guy has an opportunity to compete with the big guys. They think their numbering system is it, but I think that there also has to be a needs assessment that goes along with that should weigh as much. You know, how much do we need this? How much is that $90,000 worth of Addyston? Is it the Blue Ash, who's got more money than they know what to do with?
Right.
When you look at the needs assessment, we would rank, and the other small communities would rank very high. And I always try to put that in anything that we do. Look where we are. Let's see. Also associated with that, this was in my mailbox. It was a letter from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources dated November the 3rd, 2022. That's over a month ago. I don't understand where it was for a month, and it showed up in my mailbox like this, addressed to me, and somebody opened it. I don't know where the envelope is, but it ended up in my box. This is not acceptable.
I can tell you that Margaret Ann did not receive it.
I'm sorry.
I can say that Margaret Ann did not receive it and did not open it and put it in your mailbox. Anything that I get, I date stamp.
Yeah, well, if it's got my name on it, it should come to me.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. This is not acceptable, and I will continue to investigate this because somebody had to put it in the box. Somebody had to get it and open it. How much of my other mail that's being sent to the village is being tossed in the trash or done whatever with? we will have to get to the bottom of this, because not only me, who knows what you're missing? You know, simply because somebody makes a decision on whether you should get it or you shouldn't get it. So, council, okay. There is one other thing, and I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I sent you an email, and I don't have my phone email is not working. It's probably a week or two ago, reminding you of something we should discuss. At least I was giving you information in the event that we need to discuss it in this council meeting. If not, you have it, Pam?
Is it something to do with the electric?
Say again?
The electric over at the park? I don't know, I haven't came to it yet.
I didn't think that it was about that, but.
Was it about
But
the
that's a
home-
question I had.
Oh, okay, great.
Was it about the Holmes curb for Bill Seibert's?
Is that it?
Say again?
Was it for the curb
That-
from that
Seibert.
Holmes concrete thing?
Seibert, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the reason I send the stuff out, so it doesn't get forgotten. So, council, I sent that out so that you'd have a clear understanding of the problem at Mr. Bill Seibert's property on 2nd Street. I think in the email I indicated, and the first thing I indicated to Mr. Seibert was, once we got there and we looked at it, the committee, Al, Ann, and I, and we looked at it, we said, this is an engineer. We're not engineers. We cannot say what came first, the chicken or the egg. Whether our land, our road sunk down to the middle, or his driveway sunk down to the middle, but both of them are caved in like that, and all the water that comes down goes right down into his property, continues to, do some damage and erosion to his property. What we had talked about was a temporary fix, and that is diverting a curb in front of his property to keep the water coming off the street and going into his property temporarily. It's only a temporary fix, but we could not, and help me out if I'm wrong, we could not determine a cause. We couldn't say, we did this or you did that. That has to be done by an engineer.
Well, when we discussed it, the water comes down the wall. There's a basin right there, and I made a suggestion to put a curb in there that would stop the water from going across the street to his place, and putting a curb in there to the basin, and then all the water would run down to the basin, the catch basin. And it's on the opposite side of the road, so we wouldn't ever have to move that. And it would be a permanent thing there instead of a temporary thing, which, like we discussed, it would be a temporary barrier for right now for Mr. Seibert's place if we put a temporary curb in. So I suggested, when we talked about it, putting the curb in the opposite side of the road. So when it comes down that wall, it catches that curb and runs right into that basin. Then it would stop it from running across the street to
And over
his
straight
property.
to it.
Yeah. Dustin, are you familiar where we're talking about?
Yeah, I've talked to you before about it.
Have you observed anything like, we said we wanted to kind of look at it when it was raining to kind of really get
Right,
the true
exactly.
picture?
I think it makes it look a lot worse because you have pea gravel up there where it needs to be concreted still.
Yeah.
So you see erosion there. But as
Yeah.
far as holding water or anything, it's not really.
Well, what it does, it comes down the road and the road kind of curves off like that. And it runs down the wall, and then when it gets to a certain point, the road curves off and it goes right into Bill's property.
Yeah, it looks to be that way. So we're just trying to find out a fix for him. This has been going on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I
And,
mean, it's becoming a big problem for him now.
yeah, and I'm sure it has to be affecting not just his property, even that corner lot. Something has to be going on there. What they say, somebody else just bought that or something, not
Yeah.
recently or a few years
Belongs to
ago.
someone else.
So it has to be affecting that property also. It's not just one. Just how it looks like it's running. We're not engineers, we have no idea. But we're trying to figure out something to,
At least that would be a
Yeah.
Band-Aid fix.
Well,
yeah,
like I said, it runs down that wall, and when it gets to a certain point, the road rolls off like that. So it rolls right over straight to Bill's place and down the third alley.
right.
So that's what it's doing. It's coming down a hill along the wall like this. And then when it gets to a certain point, the road starts rolling. Then once the road rolls, it goes into Bill's property and down the dirt alley. So I was thinking of fix on the opposite side of the road where the wall's coming down, to put a curb in there so it goes to the basin.
Directed over to it.
I mean, honestly,
get rid of the water.
yeah, I really think the engineer should look at, this is something that, I mean, we can think of all kinds of things we think could fix it, but I know that's an expense, but I don't know what we're gonna do there. It's,
Right.
and something needs to be done sooner
Yeah.
than later.
Well,
I mean, we only got a certain time frame for them to put asphalt in
Yeah, but
because
when
they're
did they
shutting down
say?
all the plants.
When did they say that was closing? Yeah, they,
It's
yes,
like-
15th, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say 2
Yeah,
weeks from now.
that's the reason I
So-
want to make sure we discussed it.
right, so we're up against that too.
Then
we're
there ain't
gonna-
no more asphalt after the 15th, so that's where we're kinda stuck at. We need an engineer like ASAP if we did do that.
And then,
They're gonna put- Because this bid is what, was it 1,800 or something?
I'll make a motion to have an engineer come in and look at it and,
If need be, we'll have to have a-
ASAP, so that way we can get this before the 15th because something needs to be done. So I'll make a motion to get an engineer to come in.
So we want to take a look on a rainy day, just so we can see.
Yeah, it should be all this week when it looks.
Yeah, exactly. What Al has suggested and, you know, and see if there's a water come from some other area that might not catch and still ends up going in the gully by his property.
Right, and if it's something major, we'll have to do a temporary fix if we can't. We have to do something.
Right.
Definitely, it's
Yeah.
getting bad up there now, it looks.
So,
From
you
what we
know,
see, it's getting bad up there now. From what we seen, it's done sunk down, what, 1.5 feet, 2 foot?
yeah, yeah. So,
So what are we gonna do? Have the,
I can call him tomorrow and see.
I made a motion to get the engineer and go look
okay, I'll
at it.
second it then, that we,
All right, motion by Al, second by Pam. Give our engineer a call tomorrow, have him look at it, explain what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I'll go up there with him and explain to him what I seen, from my opinion, and see what he thinks, and then we can go by whatever he
Yeah.
says.
and if we have to do something,
Yeah, we can have a
special
meeting
meeting
up.
to do something, we'll have to before the
yeah,
plant closes.
Right.
yeah.
So he can give us a suggestion that day, and
Just
we
think
can go with it.
We have no idea. I'm not an engineer, but I know there's a problem.
Yeah.
Call a special meeting to have something done before the 15th, that's for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Sorry?
Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
All right, call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
she's saying yay? Did you actually say yay?
Yay.
And
She knows
Pillow,
what's
Yay.
going on this time.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam.
Yay.
Oh, well, I guess you guys will get me for prolonging this meeting, but I have a couple other
Hey.
things that we need to take care of this month. In front of you have this particular piece. Let's see. This is for the trail cameras, which are solar powered. You can kind of look at that front page. I had trouble getting a picture of it. Bluetooth, so that it can be set up with cell phone to read, you know, from a cell phone, from the cloud. I don't know about all that, but that's what it said. The second page, you sort of have a picture of it, and
I guess so.
these are probably just above the mid-range at $139 to buy these, and I don't know if we need 2, 3, or 4. What we're trying to do is protect the playground area. So as I kind of looked at the situation, Dustin, you should have been involved in this. As I looked at the area, we could do 2 on each pole, kind of envelop the whole playground area. This funding is coming out of We Thrive, We had $3,700, I believe, is that correct, Pam?
Yeah.
$3,700 that is available to us, you know. 4 of these are what? 400, if my math is right. I'll let Jennifer figure that out. She knows about that. It is somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 for 4 of them to attach to our poles, or whatever else we might decide, wherever else we might decide to put them. And that's for your information. We'll meet with the We Thrive lady on Wednesday. I think that showed up on my calendar here pretty quickly. At 11:30.
Is it 11:30 or 1?
She has been prompting us to let her know what we're going to do with that money. It's available. And the other thing is, I don't want to get too far away from that, is we had talked about a speaker system, which you have also in front of you. Now, this is not it's not a top of the line. You can get $2,000 or $3,000 systems, I'm sure. But this seems to be an adequate system for our needs. If you look at it, it's professional grade 6-channel mixer, dual speakers, wireless mics, stand for $600. So I don't know if you want to go any higher than that. The last time we talked about them was cheaper than this.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I just wanted to get this out in front of council so that we can make some decisions. There's also another one on the next page, system that's similar. So it looks to me like we're going to spend $1,000 on the high end, $1,500 of $3,700. What do we need to do with the other monies that's available? I didn't think this would be as cheap as it is.
Right.
And it's only going up. It's not getting no cheaper. Everything's just going up.
So,
Unfortunately, but.
yeah. I just wanted to know if there are any other suggestions that we have around the table. Is that something, bless you.
Thank you.
Something that we need to talk about on Wednesday or what? But she said she'd like to have this before the first of the year, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
This
I know that
information.
you asked me and I encumbered the money. We haven't received the money, but I encumbered.
Wow.
Well, you said you wanted a purchase order, so whatever money was in the We Thrive, I used it knowing that we're getting anticipated revenue.
Sure.
We have to apply for it.
We can, I mean, there's no question we can use money in the park, but we can use this anywhere in the village. You know, but we need to use it.
Right. I'd like to make the motion that we use the We Thrive money to get this, I guess, a PA system. Guess we need to do them separately.
I would get the one
Just one
for now and see how good it works.
on the camera.
If it works, great. Order the
Should we
other
just,
3.
are we thinking just 1, 2, 3 of these cameras?
Cameras?
He was thinking 4, put 2 on
Oh,
each
you gotta do
pole.
4.
I would get all 4 of
See if
them.
it worked for everyone.
Not only that, but they're,
Always send them back.
You can always send it back.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing also that goes along with that, and the chief might agree with it, with those, we can move those around. If we're having problems somewhere else in the village and we need to move one and stick it in a house where there's activity or near.
My experience
6.
with
Yeah.
overt and covert surveillance, if you think you need 2, get 4. Because it's, once you put it out there, you're gonna say,
Get 6.
well, I wish we had 2 more of these.
Is there somewhere else we can use them besides our mine over there at the park?
I probably got
Get
about 10
Veterans
places on
Park.
fire.
I know
Veterans Park.
Veterans Park, I know, I thought about Veterans Park, probably our salt
Definitely
shed.
Veterans Park.
Mhm.
Anywhere else? I mean, there's 6 right there.
Because remember, the very next day after Memorial Day, they took
Yep.
the wreath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything on the garage, anything on the garage area. How about our dumpsters?
How about the salt shed?
Well, we said that one, the salt shed, the dumpster.
Yeah.
Dumpster, that's like a revolving thing over there.
Well, even if you got 8, you still have money to get the PA system.
All right. I'll make the motion that we'll go with 8 of the trail cameras
Mhm.
and then
So, could I just ask a question while we're talking about this? How, are they motion activated or are they? How
Yes.
does it work? Okay.
Yeah, motion
So it's
activated.
not a continual feed, it's
Right.
picks up motion and then kicks on?
right.
Motion activator, they have a loop. If you don't erase anything, then it starts to erase
Sure.
after a period of time, so you don't miss anything currently on it. I am not
Makes more sense.
all that on the IT, but
How are you gonna monitor them?
say again,
How are you going to monitor the cameras? Who's gonna monitor them? How are you gonna?
how are we gonna monitor them? I would assume the people who need it most are the police.
Yeah.
That's
Who
what I say.
can monitor it through their phone, you know?
Do you happen to know
I don't have a cell
offhand
phone no more.
how long we have to go back to look for something before it starts to record over itself?
You know,
Don't say on
I
here.
think Ann asked me
I
that
think it
today.
does actually.
Where is it? Is it on
And
the
of all
last
the
page?
information I saw, that I didn't see.
Because
Mr. Tenenfeld.
Yes.
generally when there's
Wrong stuff.
a problem, we don't obviously know about it in real time.
Right, exactly.
So somebody would have to go back to look. So if it's 12 hours or something like that, fantastic.
It says
It's
something about
longer
the
than that.
SD microchip.
It's days.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
I would think that'd be more than
Yeah.
sufficient.
Yeah, you have to put it in
Yeah, and I
memory
certainly-
card.
Yeah, it needs a memory card, so that should work.
Every one of them, you gotta buy a separate memory card and put it in, and then it
Yeah.
records it for like, what is it, like 2 weeks, something
It's
like
like, well, I
that.
think the cameras are got it.
Whenever they get a motion, but there's always gonna be a motion with children over there all day.
Yeah.
I think we could say that we're gonna get cameras, and between now and Wednesday, when you have the meeting,
Okay.
when you have to have stuff written up, Lisa will have time to go through it, since she is the
Recording.
IT person.
Then I'll change my motion to get 8 of these
Yeah.
trail cameras, solar powered.
Yeah.
Cameras.
Get 8 down.
Yeah, okay.
I just noticed one thing. I thought, maybe I looked at too many of them, but I thought that it said 100 feet. Now that I read at the bottom of this, it says night vision range of 65 feet. I don't think that's a problem. If you got 2 in the area that we have is what?
Well,
Right
from where
in
the
that
poles
area.
are.
Blind bolt to the
The
other
poles
one.
where we're monitoring it, yeah.
Yeah, only about 50 feet.
Yeah, the poles are really close.
It won't go the whole park, no, but,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, did you second
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a motion.
it? For the cameras,
But it may be 100 foot in the daytime and
Trail cameras.
All right.
65.
So we have a motion to buy 8, second by Al.
Along with the SD cards, let's say.
Yeah, I got that
Yeah,
down.
okay.
And they're,
Because you'll definitely want to be able to swap those out.
Yeah, I've got that in part of the motion.
Okay. Call for the vote?
Ann Pillow,
Yeah.
Jennifer, Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
yay.
I guess I'm gonna have to do Jennifer A, Jennifer B. Like in grade school.
The other motion I'll make is for the PA system.
Say again.
The motion for the PA system.
Oh, okay.
Motion by Pam Jackson, who seconded that?
Okay.
Al, any discussion? No discussion,
I
we'll
think we did
vote.
that first.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Mayor,
Yes.
that's all I have.
Thanks, Dan. Jennifer, whatever you want to say.
Whatever I want to say.
You got the floor right now.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to sit on council. I've been in Addyston all my life, so this is a real honor. I don't really know much about this, but I believe in God, and I know that He's going to get me through this along with your help, and I'm up for the challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're all here to help you. I mean, nobody comes to this knowing everything.
I'll
Give us
need to
way
get some
out.
information before you leave so I can
Yeah.
communicate with you about certain things.
Please.
I was
He
talking
was
to
talking.
Jennifer.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here. Before we go to the next committee, I just wanted, because they sent that report out today, and I didn't see it until he said it.
I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to let council know that while you were looking for it in your email, I
like-
hit send.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
So I just want to let you know you have it now.
Okay. I was like, did I miss something?
You got an email while we sat there?
Yeah,
He's
so I just
on
wanted to let you know, because I thought, oh man, I didn't send that, did I? Oops. Anyway, Miss Ann?
I really don't have anything new to add since it's already been covered. But I too wanted to thank Dustin and all the rest of maintenance for the work that they did over there. Was that just last Tuesday? It seems like
Yeah, I know, a long time ago.
it seemed much longer. And I just thought it was great that everybody was working together and we got it done, chasing the concrete truck around. So that's all I have. I have no meeting scheduled at this point.
It's the holiday season.
After Wednesday, maybe.
All right, thank you, Miss Ann. Al?
And nothing at this time, but I do like to say, I got somebody else for Santa Claus, but I can't tell you until we get here Saturday morning.
Oh, we got a surprise.
Yeah, surprise Santa. He kind of looks like Santa.
A surprise.
He's better than me.
Oh, gosh. I have a bad feeling.
Thanks, Al.
You'll be fine.
Pam?
I have a bad
Santa
feeling.
will be here Saturday.
All right.
Nothing
Okay.
else though.
All right. Yeah, you got me thinking. We did have a laws and contracts committee meeting, Ann and I, since we're the only ones left. We're discussing the manual that's been going on and on and on, our policy procedure manual. So we did put some other changes in there for some of the new positions, like the full-time officer, that's in there, and just reviewing things, because it's been almost a year since we looked at it last. So what we're trying to do, Ann got a copy of tonight, because she likes her paper copy. And once we look it over, if she has anything to add, I want to send it out to the rest of council, just to get their input on it. And then hopefully we can bring this back at the next meeting, and also get Bob to look at the legal part of it, so we don't make any mistakes.
But if anybody does want it, we can print it.
Right, if somebody else wants to print a copy. rather
See
than
me
looking
and
at
I
it.
can print it for you.
So that's all on that part of it, laws and contracts. Then we also had finance meeting. He tried to schedule this several times. Jennifer Anderson has some issues or things going on that I guess that she couldn't be there. Because, we sent it out, let her know, but didn't get a response. So we have to do something, because like I said, the report she needed had to go out. And it's getting to the end of the year, we've got one more meeting. It seems like we're always up against this, getting raises and everything else. But we already talked about the appropriations part. So that's, Margaret's working on that, we've got that done. The other thing to consider was, I know we always do raises, we try to always do raises. In the past, it's been like a 3%, I know it was only me, so I said, well, we know that if our funds stay kind of how they have been, we should be able to afford that. I mean, maybe we can look at it a few months later in the year, but I would like to have something in place come January, to give our employees, because it seems like we're always struggling sometimes to get stuff passed. And we've got one more meeting this year, maybe two, but at least one official meeting. So that's why I did ask Bob to bring this ordinance so we can get this passed so it's ready for January the 1st. One thing I did want to point out on this, I don't know how this happened, and why I know we hired that full-time police officer, and we pay her more than our part-time people, and I started really thinking about that. I said, why would we do that? She's getting all the benefits. So I would like to suggest that we have the part-time people, what we just call them a police officer, and they all make the same fees. That should help the department somewhat too. They would make the same pay range, but she is getting, or that position as a full-time is getting all the benefits. That's the bonus. You're getting your health insurance if you want it, you're getting your days off, or the part-time officers are not. So if we adjust their pay to that base pay, hers was, well, I know it's different on this sheet. The officer we have in that position now is, was it 18, what is hers?
2051.
No, before this. She's 2051, that's right. So she just was hired, what month was that when we got her? I was trying to remember that too.
October.
Was it October? So we said, if we keep her the same, because she's just coming in the door, I know I hate to do that, single one person out, but we did just increase that one by $1. So if we make all of our part-time officers that same wage, then that rectifies that. She's just getting the benefits. So that should help maybe get some more, hopefully, part-time people interested. It is a little more.
Be fantastic.
Yeah.
They'll be referred to as
Yeah.
police officers.
Because I thought, why did we, I don't know why we separate, because we always just had part-time. I guess we really, when we did this for that position, we made full-time. We didn't look at the whole, wasn't thinking at the whole picture, I guess. Where they're not getting any of the benefits.
A lot of it had to do with insurance things too in
Right.
the past, where we had to specify who was full-time, who was part-time.
Right.
With the
The
ordinance.
insurance costs too, that was a big issue in the past. So this kind of gives it a little bit, it's helping them out a little bit more maybe to get somebody hired a position. Might not work, I mean, if we don't get people that come, but it's just a little more, but yet it kind of cleans it up. And the other thing, the sub-secretary is like, I don't know why I know why we had it in the past, because we had sub-secretaries coming in, but now we have a employee, which is our water board clerk, that is supposed to cover for our clerk of courts. So that should be remedied. We shouldn't need that position as far as worried about the pay, because we have somebody that's supposed to be doing that. Like when Aaron's off, we have it in that ordinance that I hate to use her name, but our water board clerk is the one that's supposed to be covering when Aaron's off. So there's no difference, should be any pay difference or anything.
Yeah,
We already did that. We
Yeah.
already raised it up because of being
Yes.
certified for the NCR's
My
computer.
personal opinion is, the person's not doing the job, they shouldn't be getting paid.
Right.
We've been paying for Aaron to be covered for, what, 3 years now?
And why we're not using that person, I can't explain it either, because we need to know why when she's off, if we can. I know sometimes you don't know ahead of time, but if we do
really
know.
need to get that figured out. I
Right.
don't know who does what, but.
Right.
Dan, the last time Erin was on vacation, Lisa Walker did fill in for her. The
Yeah,
last time.
She did?
That was for vacation, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
if we have a
yeah,
heads up
but-
and know she's gonna be.
But when
yeah.
Erin's off sick, if we don't know, or, you don't know she can't be down here.
Yeah.
And the water board has supplied their clerk with a laptop that she should be able to fill in for Erin when she's off, even when she's sick, if we, she knows with the laptop, because it's supposed to have the same software on it as what
Right.
she uses on her desktop.
Yeah, so
But
if
she
somebody
can
don't
come
show
down
up,
here.
if she's not gonna be here at the last minute, people get sick, we realize that, then she could just come down and be downstairs where people are, sometimes I guess the door's locked, I'm getting people telling me they come here and the door's locked, and I know people get sick, people take off, we don't know that when someone's not here, we just get the feedback on the street. But the reason why we did that with the water board is to possibly have someone here most of the time, as much as we could, to have our building open and operational. Because, Margaret's here sometimes, but she doesn't have to be here. She's not an employee. So that's a problem too. So if we could just get the water board clerk back into the mix of filling in at the times that Aaron's off, that should cover this, and the certification.
Yeah, what's happening with the certification?
The certification, she explained to me, okay, she hasn't passed it. And there is a lot to learn. If you do not use RCIC on a daily basis, you're not gonna pass it. She don't use it enough to have it. If she covers for Erin, the computer just has to be off and she can't use it. Well, she wouldn't be able to anyway, because she can't sign in.
Right.
So
But as
there's-
long as the system's off, she can use the Baldwin system all day long.
Yeah. Well, then I think that we need to make sure she's down there, and then we need to get her the training or whatever that she needs, and make sure we still pursue that. Since we agreed to, by ordinance or resolution, whichever one it was, that she's got paid the additional amount for that reason.
Exactly,
I mean, that's where we're at. It's been over a year now.
yeah.
So I've never really had much involvement with that. I think those things
We're
were
before
either
you.
in place or starting
Right.
before me. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she took the class, but did not pass the test. And I don't know if it's ever been revisited, but even without that, even without the computer on, for her to be in there, there's still files from Mayor's Court with RCI's information in it. There's still printouts around. I would have to check with RCIC. That may be an issue with her even being in there with the computer off. So if she's not passed the
Put
test.
everything away.
Wow.
Right.
So.
That's not, we weren't told that in the past. I think we definitely need to visit and find that
Right.
out. What's fact and fiction.
I'll
We've been
talk to
told
you about that.
so many
and see about
stories.
what we can do about that then.
Well,
I don't know what's even true anymore.
I can tell you right now, she probably cannot be in that room unescorted because of the Mayor's Court files that are not
Well,
locked.
could they be locked up? Could all that stuff be locked up? So that she's there just to greet the customer,
Sure.
people coming off the street who want copies. You know, somebody's coming to pay a water bill, somebody's coming to see me, they want to ask for the mayor or something like that. Because at one time, that position was also the voice and the face of our community when
Sure.
people come in.
Right.
And, you know, if those things can be, I know that she's supposed to be doing it, but in the meantime, until something's figured out, if
Right.
those things can be under lock and key, then she doesn't see them, just the stuff that she would need to, like, communicate with the public.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
And
the only thing I can say for sure is that we have to comply.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a.
If she can't be in the office, she can't be in the office. And Eric, I thought that's something we squared away early on. I think it was contingent upon her being trained
yeah.
to be in that position.
Again, that
And
was,
this has been 3 years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's before
Roughly.
you.
the impression I was under, she took the class,
She did it more than once.
I think, yes.
She took the test more than once, yeah. I know that for a fact that she has.
So,
And went through some type of training. But I don't want to speak of my past experience, but I know that it's an open book test, it was, and that I could ask questions of people around me if I needed to. So,
Well,
she would most likely take that test there.
yeah. Or, I don't know
that's-
where you
can
go to
use-
do it.
Yeah, you can use their research materials when you take it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Unless it's changed. I mean, I was certified for years, so,
Yeah, it is not.
yeah.
You can use their.
But I know what she's saying, because there is so much stuff in there that you don't use on a daily basis, but that's why you don't need to know. You just, I would ask, if I worked for the patrol, I just asked the officer, and they would help me out or show me where to find it.
She could,
That's what I did.
in a fill-in scenario, she can do that
Right.
without even needing RCIC. Just the predicament for me is what I would have to look and see what lock measures we would have to put in
Yeah.
place if she didn't pass the test.
Well, yeah, but everything we approved was on the fact that she would be certified.
Okay.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
that was the selling point, like from, with the water board to our agreement, I think, as council.
Well, I think that if
This is,
you think back, Dorian had a lot to do with that because she did fill in the months that Aaron was off when she had her last child. And I think there was some pushing to, have somebody in it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been so long, so many stories, but I just wanted to
Yeah. The only,
bring that to light too.
yeah. Down the road, if it goes to that, I think the solution is when we had a redesign of the building, that she wouldn't be in the same room, but
Right.
she'd be able to do that out of her office in a window.
Right.
That may come, it may not. I know
Right.
there's money that we were looking at being available to do that, but that's not a solution right now, but we should look at that in the future.
Could I offer maybe a temporary solution until we can figure out the RCIC issue? If potentially I know Aaron's gonna be off, having an officer in there during the day, to
Wow.
do her responsibility. I don't think the pay is very different.
I don't-
Yeah, it is. It's about $3 difference.
Well,
Between Aaron and part-time
well,
officer?
yeah, but I don't understand that either. If we can't get them to patrol the road,
Say
we can
again,
get
ma'am,
them
I'm
to
sorry.
come in the office.
I just,
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but, yeah, I'm talking about if we can't get an officer to be on the road, we're gonna bring him in to be in an office.
okay.
I mean, I appreciate, the gesture. I mean, that's just my opinion. All right, so I just want to explain why you see a few little things different on here. That's what went on.
It was really trying to clean the ordinance up.
Yeah, just trying to clean some of this up that's been on there. I know, I don't think we put in the past that OVI task force thing was on here at $30 an hour.
That's a separate ordinance and it's
that's all.
40.
Yeah, it's on its own now, but it was on there in the past because I was looking at all the other ones. So that's not on there either
This is a projected rate.
for
Could
next
you-
year.
Could you, in your next thing, put down the existing rates
Yeah,
as a comparison? Just another line in what you got here,
yeah, we should all have that somewhere else.
whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I would like to make a motion that, I guess we need to read it by title only, declare an emergency, read it 3 times by title only.
Okay.
Did I have a second, or was that just?
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Is there any discussion?
You're asking for discussion, Mayor?
Yeah, okay.
I have questions, but okay, just really quickly, and the Secretary Clerk of Courts gets 1863, and the Water Board Clerk is presently at 1783. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding that right.
That's what the position would be going to.
Go-
That's what
to.
they raise?
Yes, that's the 3%, yes.
So they're not
Yeah.
making the same right now? Oh,
No,
I thought we raised
no,
her up to.
No,
No.
no, no, she's always was
That's
less.
the reason I had
Aaron's
asked the
making more.
question.
Erin always made more.
Yes. Thank
She was
you.
She'll
always
be
less.
making even more than that considering how long she's been here, and Water Board Clerk practically caught up to her. When you look at that pay, that really ain't
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
but she won't catch
Yeah, I
up with
mean,
her unless we don't give somebody something. I mean.
A
you know, that
part-time
way.
position,
Yeah, per se,
getting
yeah.
paid as much or more than as much as our full-time maintenance guy.
That's why I said some of these are
That
a
shouldn't
little,
come into question.
are a little out of, yeah, just like all the specialized police ones too.
Yeah. So,
Any further discussion?
well, obviously, while we're discussing it, do we plan to make any changes, or is we just gonna leave it as is and vote on it?
I mean, yeah, obviously, I think maintenance needs to make more, Aaron needs to make more. I mean, that's just my opinion here. But even our casual employee, I mean, McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. We're telling you $13 to go out there and cut grass.
Yeah, and I'm not a guy that likes to go back, but we had a rate that sort of kept, like the clerk of courts, pretty much at the same rate as the maintenance supervisor back in the day. Those kind of went together
No, this,
sometime back. Yeah. You
these
may
are-
not remember it, but I've
No,
been
but they-
around
if
here
we
as
get
long as you have.
what we do is take the orders from the last time to this one.
Huh?
You take the orders from the last pay
Yeah.
to this one, what it was, it's 3%.
Yeah, all I'm talking about is during the years, those two, when Billy was here, Jane, those positions sort of made the same. And it's in the past, and I don't need to dwell on that, but, I mean, we're going back a while, but that's the sergeant and then switch to lieutenant, those always pay the same. So I withdraw that question because it always brings more questions
And we can
I just-
always go back and redo this. This is just so we can get something
So we
in
can
place
get it in
for
place so
January,
that it
but we
gets-
can
Okay.
always revisit this
Okay.
to fine tune
We have to
these
see what
positions.
kind of money is gonna come in for this.
I mean, I agree, there's some other
Yeah.
tweaks that need to be done to this.
yes.
Yes, it needs
Let's get
updated.
these people who are getting money their money. I'll second the motion if it hasn't been
It's been
seconded.
It's been seconded.
Okay.
We're just waiting to call for a vote.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yeah.
Pam Jackson.
Yay. I do have one thing I need to add to this, I'm sorry. In the policy procedure, it does say that our police department, police officers when on duty, check the float, the water thing. It's like, is that still happening, or is that supposed to still be happening?
No.
It's automated. There's no need.
Is it automated or not? I've heard both sides of the fence here. We just need to know for laws and contracts. Because that's in the,
Couldn't tell you.
We always did. The police always checked the mark on the water tank because they were the ones who were out there in the middle of the
Right.
night. They could say the tank is empty or the tank's where it should be or whatever. We did that, but I don't know why or why not we don't do it now.
so can we get that clarified for sure if it's automated or not? And I don't know who's, you talk to one person, they say, oh yeah, the next person say, no. So we
I don't know
really do
who's
need to
saying
know.
no. Who's saying no has definitely not been up there to look at it.
So who's checking it?
Tony
The
does.
water guy every
He
day.
does? Yeah.
So it's not automated then?
It is automated. The water guy is checking that. by
So if
going
it's
to the wells.
automated, meaning automated, is it by signal coming
Transmits.
in-house here
Transmits.
to
Go over
where?
there at the wells.
All right, so then we need to take that out of their, what I'm getting at.
Right, it's
Out of
hasn't
the
worked,
police
it hasn't
officer
worked
duties.
for at least 5 years.
It's been there a long time, yeah, that's why I was
Right.
wondering, that's why I was
Yeah.
going through this, that was one of the things that was highlighted, is like, I don't even know that any of our officers know to do that.
I couldn't, never been one shown where it is or how to do it, so.
All right, then that will, it's another one, Ann. Was there any, I don't think there was anything else, I know that was one of the items. Other than that, I'm done for the night.
Well, it was Pastor Bob to,
Well, we still gotta do this. We're still on this right here, aren't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta take a vote.
Oh, we did? I thought we did.
no, I took the
We had
vote.
all
I'm
kinds-
waiting
oh.
for Bob.
Bob to read it.
Oh, Bob has to read it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
I took the vote.
I never knew you
I was
did.
like, we already did. I
Yeah.
was like, hold on now.
First reading an ordinance setting the compensation of certain village employees and declaring an emergency. Second reading an ordinance setting the compensation of certain village employees and declaring an emergency. Third reading an ordinance setting the compensation of certain village employees and declaring an emergency.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adopt as read. He's looking at me, he's like, your turn, or his turn.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. You call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann
Yay.
Pillow, Al Glick.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay, and this is effective January 1st,
Yes.
First.
or the first pay, whatever that is.
Before they adjourn, I got some.
Oh, okay.
No, this is sort of important. Dan, you emailed me about the bus 53 from Hamilton County.
Right, thank you very much.
I got in touch with the commander. The new commander's name is Chad Omer, Elmer Omer's grandson, if
Okay.
you know that history for
Yes.
the village. Anyhow, I did email him and Trina Adams, the girl that sent it out from the county, both of them saying, Chad, I reached out to you for this bus to, for the money that they have, for people to apply for rent grants and stuff like that. By email, I'm including Trina Adams from the county, to maybe use two can get together. Well, this Commander Chad told me that he would take it to the meeting Saturday.
Okay.
And that was last Saturday. So I called my brother and I asked if it was brought up. And he said it was brought up, but it was more or less tabled because in the letter from the county, they're asking to be able to have bathroom privileges to go
Exactly.
in and out of the building. They're not sure how they feel about somebody going out, in and out of their building.
Okay.
I mean, this is Hamilton County. I don't
Yeah.
think that, you know what I'm trying to say here.
Sure.
So anyhow, it has been passed on to them. I have not checked back with Trina Adams at the county to see if anything's transpired. I was told by Joe, my brother, they're supposed to bring it up at their next post meeting, which would be probably the next Saturday of January, the first Saturday of January.
Sure.
But I did pursue it. I was trying to help them, for them to have a location.
Sure, I appreciate that.
I mean, I didn't know if we could sit it down at our fire station, if there's room down there. It's a 40-something.
Well, they need room
Man.
they need room to put their bus.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is. That's
big.
what I'm saying. They described it. It was like 40 feet long, so many
Pretty big.
feet. It's big.
Yeah.
But they also need the restroom facilities
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
I'm not trying to tell about their business. They could very easily isolate the restroom area.
Well,
So when you go in that back door, you can't get anywhere.
The side
but to-
door, it actually, it
Yeah.
goes right
Well-
around to the bathrooms.
I think
In the
some of
back.
them were in favor
Yeah.
of it, some of them were.
Yeah.
But, there was the only place I could think of that would have the facility or the area because,
Yeah.
like, I was told, would they park it in the back towards the creek,
Sure.
as you go around the building. But
Yeah.
anyhow, I did pass it on and,
I appreciate it. Everybody's pretty familiar with what.
yeah, everybody got an email on it.
Email about.
This is grant money that the federal government's offering for
Right.
rent assistance, utility assistance. Like if you were affected by COVID, they'll pay like 3 to 6 months of your rent. I mean, there's applications online and that you can.
You have to put that in our
Yeah.
newsletter more than
Right.
once. Actually,
Yeah.
it's the relief513.com.
Yeah,
It brings people
yeah.
Yeah.
to Addyston for once, and people of Addyston not running all over the township to
Right.
be
Get
involved.
some information.
Mayor, if there's not, is there anything else to come before council? If not, I make a motion, we
Adjourn.
adjourn. And I just forgot something too. I was trying to say it before Margret got finished, but we'll catch it the next time.
We didn't vote yet.
We didn't second it yet.
I'm just starting to write.
What is it?
Well, I just did want to ask, Pam mentioned that if you could check with the electric people to see
About
how
lights,
they're
yeah.
coming with our electric on the
Yeah, I did
playground.
just ask him about that. They should have been finishing up now.
Yeah, great. I'm
She asked a
sorry.
few more questions and then she hasn't sent me anything since last week. So
Right.
I'll hit her up again and say, hey, you have everything you
Great.
need now.
And sorry to be out of order, but.
Now, did you second it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Dan,
call
Yeah.
for, yeah.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yeah.
Camp Jackson.
Yay.